How would you like to get a $100 million verdict for your law firm? Well, in this video, I interview Ryan McKean, whose firm got a $100 million verdict, and we talk about how he attracted a $100 million case. How did he actually get the case? And more importantly, how you can get cases like this as well. So if you want to get that big case, even if you're not a personal injury attorney, if you just want to get bigger cases that pay more money to your law firm, then you cannot miss this interview. Ryan, thank you so much for joining me today. Really appreciate it, and kind of sharing a little bit of insight into kind of how you guys were able to get this verdict. Just give me a little bit of background. What happened on this $100 million verdict that you got?
What happened was that, look, we got in the case of a man who'd been paralyzed. The basic facts of it are that 1,300 pounds of Philips light bulbs, lamps, fell on him. The lamps were not secured to a pallet. Had they been secured to a pallet, they wouldn't have fallen. And it resulted in, paralyzation and catastrophic injuries to our client and friend, Mikey Cruz. We ended up litigating this case for 5 years. There's ongoing appellate litigation at the moment over this. Philips never offered us more than $1.5 million on this case. They didn't think they had any responsibility for this. We saw it very differently. There were two other defendants in the case that we were able to settle out with for $8 million. So our client was able to get some money for his healthcare and get a house and all those things that are really, really important.
Let's go back to the beginning. How do you even get a $100 million case?
It really starts with vision. And I'm going to go a little out there and say manifestation, because we have to set a direction in the world. We have to move intentionally. So when my partner Andrew and I sat down, and it was March of 2017, we really didn't have cases that were worth more than $100,000. And we said, well, what's our 10-year vision for the firm? What do we want to do? And we said, well, we want to be the best trial firm in Connecticut, but that's not an acceptable goal. And so what we did is we looked around, we went searching the firms that we thought were really good and looked up to, and we looked on their website and we're like, well, what do these firms do? What is their sort of ceiling? And it looked to us like a $10 million jury verdict was that was the threshold that would put us in the conversation. And we started very slowly and methodically building a trial firm. Essentially, there's no magic to the people who get high verdicts. Some of them are amazingly polished. Some of them are not. What really mattered more than anything was the execution and the knowledge of knowing what to do. And we started seeking out on how to acquire it. And I don't think we ever get there without writing down that we wanted a $10 million verdict in 10 years.
And that's huge. And that's one of the things that we talk to, because we have a coaching program where we coach hundreds of lawyers. And step one is write down, we call it a vivid vision. It comes from Cameron Herold, right? It's where do you actually want to be in 3 years? And the reason that's so important, it's funny because a lot of people kind of roll their eyes and oh yeah, I need a vision, But the reality is that if you don't know where you're going, you don't know what you need to do to get there. That's why the vision is so critical. One thing I wanted to ask you about now, before we got on here, you were actually talking about how you're actually the CEO of your law firm. Talk to me about delegation and kind of how you handled that with this particular case, and then also with your law firm, because a lot of times lawyers get in this situation where they're great lawyers, but they're trying to do everything. And, there's a concept in life that I found that the people who do the most typically make the least.
But what it requires is intention. So what we decided to do early on, and this is true in all businesses. I don't know if there's a word for this, Andy, but everything wants to pull you away from the important. All of life is designed to make you not do the thing. So instead of, maybe working on a $100 million case, you're taking a lead on a case that's $5,000. Because you need to sign the client, you need to get the money. So really what we did is we said, okay, let's try as best we can to isolate this case. Andrew, you really want to do trial work. I've done a bunch of trial work. I'm fine taking a backseat to this. Let me start handling all the other various aspects of the business. Let me handle intake. Let me handle other litigation. Let me handle pre-litigation. Let me handle marketing. And if you're a lawyer and if you're looking to grow, the number one thing that you have to be willing to do, I think it's really the thing that lawyers don't do, is you have to let go. It's not about your success as lead trial attorney at some point. If that's your vision, that's fine. It's about how can I get my team to succeed? How can I find the best people? And that requires stepping away. That requires maybe hiring people who are better than you at that thing.
what I've learned through this entire thing, taking my company from no employees to, I think we're at like 100 W-2 employees now. Like it's crazy. You have to transition from being a boss to a coach. And you have to actually be helping to elevate the people under you and helping them get better at their job.
That's exactly the role that you have to do. I mean, coaching is really nothing more than figuring out where somebody is and helping them get to where they want to be. It's getting your people to believe in themselves, getting your people to buy into what you're doing and why you're doing it. In fact, one of the things that we're actually reorganizing our firm, and we're working on an internal, what we're calling it like executive MBA, because what we need to do, and it's all focused on training leaders. Like now I'm leading the firm, but I also I'm beyond the point of just needing managers. I need to train leaders. I'm like, we need to teach people how to coach other people.
Yeah, it's the most powerful thing you can do. It's funny, like watching Tiger Woods with his swing coach, hearing Michael Jordan talk about Phil Jackson. And I'm like, if these people who are at the absolute tip top of their game have coaches, then I have to have a coach. One other thing I wanted to talk to you about that you mentioned is the vision for your employees. That actually is something that we have found really helps with recruiting. Because I hear a lot of people say, oh, the job market sucks, I can't get anybody. But the reality is that we actually have a lot of people that are coming to us, and it's because we have a very clear vision on our website.
Your vision and sort of putting your vision out into the world is incredibly powerful because it will help you find your people. And it should be polarizing. Our vision is to be the best trial firm in America in 10 years. If that appeals to you as a trial lawyer, come join us. We want to help injured people. This is the place you want to do it, and we're going to make it the best place we need to do. That's incredibly effective because most of our talent at the highest levels are people we recruit.
So I always say that all problems lead to solutions, and then all solutions create new problems, just bigger problems, right? So at one point, the problem was I need to get clients, I need to get cases. And now we have potential $100 million case. Surely that created some problems in itself that you never even expected.
I think we faced them pretty good in the sense that we knew that, me, Andrew, and a paralegal for 9 hours was not going to get this done. So we said, okay, we're going to need to hire a paralegal. And we're like, well, but if we hire a litigation paralegal and we're having her scan the mail, like that's not good. So we're going to hire an intake person. So we started assembling like that core team. We also recognized that we needed money. So we went out and and got plaintiff's funding, the ability to borrow case expenses, because we ended up putting in about $350,000 into this case. As we neared towards trial, it's like we hired the best trial lawyers we could find. We brought aboard Andrew Raines and Alexa Mahoney, and we're like, come on with us. Let's help get this case over the finish line. And that's what we did.
Well, Ryan, thank you so much for hanging out with me today. I really appreciate all this insight. So you have this event coming up next week. Why don't you tell everybody about it and where they can get a ticket to it?
It's $100millionday.com. $100 Million Day, Ritz-Carlton, November 9th and 10th. It's going to be fantastic. We put a ton into it. You're going to get a book, all the transcript with our editorial comments. We're going to teach you things, whether you're new or old. It's all the systems that we learned over 5 years of litigating this case that has allowed us to get great results on even smaller cases. So that's going to be there, build community. And if you're out there, whether you go to this or whatever, listen to this and learn from the best people you can. Learn from the people you've done it from, whether it's in marketing, business, trial, anything.
And by the way, anybody out there that's listening, if you want the cheat sheets for this, what we're going to do is we're going to basically take all this information that Ryan gave us. We're going to turn it into a cheat sheet. There's going to be a link either in the description of this video or in the comments somewhere around here. So Ryan, thank you so much for hanging out with me today. This was awesome. Really appreciate it. And good luck with your event. And I'm sure I'll be talking to you soon.
Thank you, Andy.